But then, fast forward 15 months to May 1978. It was the evening, a quiet suburban neighborhood. A knock on the door, a gentle yet insistent rhythm, echoes through Kubacki's parents' house. Mr. and Mrs. Kubacki, still mourning their son's disappearance, open the door hesitantly, only to collapse in shock. Standing before them was Stephen. He looked older, had a beard grown during his absence, and his eyes held a depth that spoke of journeys untold. He was clad in unfamiliar clothes that seemed to be stitched together in a haste, and carried a satchel packed with random trinkets, none of which were his. The words stumbled awkwardly from Stephen's mouth, as though he was waking from a deep, timeless dream. "I don't remember. I can't remember anything." On shaking legs, he entered his old home. The world around him felt both foreign and significantly unchanged. Scrambling for answers that the authorities had given up on, Stephen underwent hypnosis, interrogations, and psychological evaluations. Yet, with every attempt to excavate his lost memories, the snow-cast haze over his mind grew thicker. Stephen's friends wondered if he had simply suffered a mental breakdown or had an extraordinary experience he couldn't quite articulate. Conspiracy theories flourished. Abducted by aliens, transported to another dimension, caught between time loops. The only truth was hauntingly simple. He was here, just as mysteriously as he wasn't. The townsfolk occasionally whispered about Stephen, the boy who walked upon frozen lands and through icy realms, only to return without a single layer of frost upon his consciousness. Years passed, and Stephen carried on, graduating, building a life marked by a peculiar, unspoken chapter. He seemed clear-headed, curious, and grateful for his second chance. But every now and again, he would pause, lost in moments, searching for that hidden corner in his mind where 15 months lay entangled with serenity and confusion. It was the spring of 1978, when the Van Krant family received a knock at the door that they had never expected. Standing at the threshold was Stephen, the son who had been missing for over 15 months. His absence had cast a long shadow over their lives, filled with endless nights of worry and unanswered questions. When Stephen vanished, the authorities searched tirelessly, combing through every lead but finding nothing substantial. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air, and eventually, hope thinned out, settling into an uncomfortable acceptance. But now, here he was, flesh and bone, right there, staring at them with eyes that mirrored their shock. Stephen simply stood there, as if the lengthy passage of time hadn't touched him at all. "Hi," he said, with a casualness that belied the surreal nature of his return. His parents, Evelyn and Harold, simultaneously felt tears sting their eyes, a mix of relief and disbelief flooding through them. After a tentative return to normalcy, they sat in the warm light of the living room, demanding to know where he'd been. But Stephen had no grand tale to share, no dramatic story or explanation. "I woke up in a field in Massachusetts," he told them blankly. "I didn't know where I was, so I came home." It was the strangest thing. Stephen had no memory of what happened during those 15 months. The disappearance of memory left only questions. How did he survive? Who did he encounter? The family tried to piece together the mystery, consulting experts, doctors, psychologists, anyone who might shed light on Stephen's baffling amnesia. And though the Van Krants found comfort in his return, the lingering absence of answers left an unsettling chill, quietly reminding everyone that some mysteries defy time, logic, and understanding. It happened on a cold December night. Stephen Donovan, an ordinary accountant living in a quiet town, walked back into his house after being missing for an entire week. He was inexplicably changed, as if a different man had returned. His family had been worried sick, filing missing persons reports and plastering his face across the internet. But when Stephen walked through the door, he could offer no explanation. Anywhere, anytime. Just a blank, eerie statement. I woke up. I came home. Stephen had a bag slung over his shoulder, not the one that he'd left with. This bag bulged unnaturally at the seams, heavy with an ominous burden of unknown adventures. His family gathered around, cautiously hopeful, as Stephen emptied the contents onto the kitchen table. Silence descended, palpable and sudden. Out tumbled maps, too many maps, each marked with cryptic symbols and destinations crisscrossing different cities and states he couldn't recall visiting. Maps from places he'd never planned to go. Foreign currency followed, clattering like metallic rain. Currencies from continents apart, enigmatic evidence of travel far beyond American borders. Next came travel documents, oddities so abstract they bordered on whimsy, complete with unfamiliar stamps from nations he couldn't identify. Stephen's passports were bewilderingly absent from these documents. Lastly, clothes tumbled out, garments that whispered of foreign cultures and seamless stitching. In the small, close-knit town where nothing ever seemed to deviate from routine, the estranged Stephen reappeared, igniting a chain of wild theories and gripping the community in fear-fueled fascination. Stephen disappeared one fog-enveloped October night. 14 haunting months passed wherein he was mourned, searched for, and eventually quietly acknowledged as a ghost of memory. But Stephen's return flared questions and doubt as he wandered into town, dazed and ostensibly untouched by time yet lost. His revival rather than his disappearance was the true mystery. Paradoxically, triggering memories became shattered glass, cutting through communal consciousness. The questions cut deeper, yet Stephen remained a silent enigma. Theory number 1. Memory loss rumors spread like wildfire. Was it dissociative amnesia? Could trauma cause such a rupture in mind and time? A rare specter that would leave him blank, with his past a bleached slate. But 15 months? The odds shrank in uncertainty. Theory number 2. Abduction speculations of abduction swirled in hushed conversations. Memories hidden beneath forced forgetfulness or deceitful seams weaved into the fabric of Stephen's life. Mysterious belongings found on him only fueled the feverish whispers. Theory number 3. Paranormal stuff. Eyes turned skeptically, yet charmed by supernatural tales that painted Stephen's journey through the shadows of the Michigan Triangle, where the unexplained nibbled at reality's edges, leaving voids in certainty. Had he been snatched away by forces beyond mundane comprehension? Theory number 4. Did he fake it? To some, the simplest answer of escape resonated. They spun a yarn of escapism painted with threads of exhaustion. A man running, evading life, only to return, masquerading forgetfulness to ease his reintegration. In the cold February of 1977, Stephen Kubacki, a student with bright prospects, seemingly vanished from existence while skiing near Lake Michigan. It was as if the frosty winds had swallowed him whole, leaving only a chilling whisper of his presence. No trace, no clue, no fleeting footprints in the snow. Just gone. Parents, friends, and authorities searched relentlessly, each passing day piling atop the last until the weight of the days seemed unbearable. Yet, just as mysteriously as he'd vanished, Stephen reappeared, casually strolling into his father's house in May 1978, clothes freshly worn, seemingly alive and well, a man bearing no duress. But in him, a void, memories obliterated. A year erased from the canvas of his life, like a painter scraping away failed attempts at capturing his vision. Once back, Stephen turned down the paths that could lead to an explanation. Refusing interviews as though acknowledging the mysterious absence might fracture an already tenuous understanding of reality that he clutched, refusing book deals that offered the tantalizing expansion of wealth if only he could tell his story. Instead, he delved into the academia's confines, where perhaps psychology might present answers that logic could not fathom. A PhD attained, professor he became, his work rigorous and applauded. Yet none of it pertained to those missing months. His book, Meta-Rationality, while acclaimed, ventured not into the abyss of forgotten time. Friends, colleagues, even students would wonder, was he hiding something? Or was there genuinely nothing to tell? To this day, Stephen's lost year remains a puzzle, whispered among fellow truth-seekers and skeptics alike. Was it trauma? Locking away memories deemed too harrowing to recall? A government experiment erased from his mind by skilled surgeons of secrecy, perhaps? Or did he slip through a cosmic glitch, a quirk in the matrix of reality that lent him passage back, emptied of temporal content? Or perhaps it was something not meant to be explained, leaving us grasping at shadows, eternally incomplete. The true enigma of Stephen Kubacki, who vanished and returned, his silence becoming his most haunting legacy. So, as the questions hang in the air like ghostly apparitions, we ponder in shadows, what really happened? Stranger than fiction, the world's mysteries entice us.